Okay, so welcome everyone. Here we are for another stream, another game for today's Indie X day 2. We're going to be playing some Crime O'Clock alongside with Jacopo from Bad Seed from Italy. So Crime O'Clock is an investigation and time exploration game with a deep storyline. It felt to
Hey
me
there.
kind of like a Cluedo game mixed with Where's Waldo.
Yeah,
It gave
sure.
me that feel at least. So welcome, Jacopo. Nice to see your face. Also,
Yeah,
for
thank
for
you. Nice
everyone
to see
in
you too.
at least in Rubber Chicken TV stream, Matteo is another person from the team, and he is on the chat. So feel free to interact with him, to ask anything. We're gonna try to answer everything. All right. So, Jacopo, how should we start? Do you want to say anything before we start?
I don't know. I mean, maybe I can just give you a very quick overview about us,
Okay.
who we are, what we do. So we're in a very small indie Italian company. We are around from a while. We are very old, 8 years. This is our fifth game. We created games for essentially every platform: PC, mobile, console. And Crime O'Clock is actually made by just 5 people. And yes, we usually say that Crime O'Clock is like Minority Report AI pretending to be Doctor Who.
Okay.
And you will see why we have this elevator pitch. And but I don't know, maybe we can just start with the
Okay.
game as you want.
So let's go. Let's start the game. Um, let's go interact to start, and here we go. So investigation software. Here we go.
So essentially, you are a detective
Yeah.
and you are driven during the whole story by this very special AI that is now introducing itself. It's called Edie. And thanks to this AI, you will be able to travel to different epochs inside the game. At the moment, the production is just halfway, so we just have one case that is playable,
Okay.
completely playable. But then we will have five different epochs inside the game with more than 50 cases.
Okay. Do you have a?
And
Sorry.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Do you have like you expect to release this according to your Steam page in 2023? Is that still
yeah,
attainable and a goal or?
yes, yes, we hope so. We need to, and hopefully in summer, probably
All right.
around there.
Seems like a good summer gift for us then. All right. So let's keep going.
And
I find the dialogue from the EV very
yes,
interesting. They seem to be very
thank
funny.
you. Okay, great, thank
So
you.
let's go. I've identified as disruption in time flow seems to be centered on the year 1854, ancient history. Getting a location now, I'm dialing into it now. Our first case. Let's go. Take this first one slow and easy. It's pretty low stakes. If we don't solve this, space-time will collapse. No biggie. Press start when you're
Okay,
ready. Let's
okay.
go. Just to confirm, should play this with mouse
Yeah,
and keyboard.
yes,
Okay.
yes. It will be playable also with pad, but yeah.
Okay. Just to get a chat. We have some people interacting with Matteo, which is great. All right. This time we are dealing with burglary. So I played just a little bit of the game yesterday, just like half an hour to have an understanding of what to expect. But at the same time, the mystery felt so interesting and compelling that I decided not to play too much to save myself for today to like have some element of surprise here. So I get rings of a theft in the aristocratic quarter, a theft that never happened in the true timeline. The victim is Lady Adler, a quite famous art collector with a soft spot for technological relics of ages past. It is believed that the only Atlantean artifact still intact in our present was found in her underground vault. Okay.
Yeah. At this point inside the game, you actually have already done the tutorial. So so maybe some features I will explain them to you. But
Okay.
essentially, what you see it's this huge map where you can actually zoom in and out and to the very tiny details. And
Yeah.
this is the case number 10 for us. So you already know actually how to deal with the map, how to interact with it. And
Yeah.
but one thing that you can notice is before just deep dive in the current crime is that the map is very alive. Like, for
Mm-hmm.
example, on the top right of the map, there is a circus, and there is
Yes.
on the other side, on the right,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, there
Oh
is a
yeah. Sorry.
circus.
There you
There is
go.
a circus, and you see there is another crime there, and are
Yes.
actually in some way killed someone, and the whole map is filled with a lot of crime scenes, but not only crimes, because even normal characters are doing their normal,
Yeah.
uh,
Their desks.
yeah, and yeah, because everything is happening at the same time, but not only at the same time. So right now, inside the game, you already know that the aristocratic quarter is the one on the bottom right.
Yeah, it's here.
Is here, yeah, exactly. But I don't know if you want to explore the map. In any case, you just read.
I mean, in this case, I know exactly how this goes because I
Yeah.
played a bit yesterday, but I
Okay.
think I can show around a little bit. So the idea would be for us to find where the crime scene was, right?
Yeah.
The our software already gave us a tip. It's in the aristocratic order,
Yeah.
but you can pretty much just explore, right? So for example, you could check if it was, I don't know, here,
Hmm.
and then you just press for an evaluation, and it's not.
Yeah. Exactly.
Um, Also here, not really, not really.
Yeah.
But
But you
then
see that
actually,
something is happening. Actually, yes.
yes, exactly, exactly. No, that's very interesting. There is something here, like and very close by, I think, depending on how what's the scale here. But there's
Yeah.
always stuff like here as well,
Yeah.
but it's also not this. But I really like, by the way, the the, the resolution of the map because you can zoom in and out and grasp some very specific details. You can see the masks and you can see the faces, the food with with a lot of detail.
Yeah. That's where
Okay,
we actually put the most efforts, from a
yeah,
technical point of view, I will say. But yeah.
it's great. Okay, so you already told us it's here, and I know it's here. We can
Yeah.
see a lot of broken glass
Exactly.
and a lady crying. So let's see if it's here. Clearly.
Yeah.
There it is, our crime scene. Lady Adler found a note with a very peculiar signature from our son, Arsene Volpin II, the legendary thief. So there you go.
Yeah, the AI is talking about Volpin as if you know him. It's actually
Mm-hmm.
because you know him from a previous case. Because
Okay.
Volpin and his family are present in all the epochs. Because there is this cross time story. So sometimes we do
Okay.
it, and so you already met one of his ancestors, and you know that the family is trying to build an ancient stone warrior from a lost age at this point.
Okay. So
Okay.
the once the game is released and complete, we should expect like a linear story
Uh,
or at least some kind of interaction between
okay.
levels.
So every time you resolve a case in any epoch, there will be a butterfly effect changing
Oh,
the epoch itself, and even the one in the futures. Um, so yes, you can. It's not really linear. So you will jump
okay.
from previous epoch to future epochs. But yes,
But there's an interaction,
there is
okay?
an interaction.
Because at
Yeah.
first, at first I had the impression that this was kind of like a static map, and then you just had to solve on each map,
Yeah.
and you were done.
Yeah.
But
It's not.
that's true, but there's an effect.
Yeah. Exactly. It's not really like that. For example, now we will stop the robbery. Thanks.
Yeah,
No. No.
I'm gonna keep
I'm
going.
not saying anything about it. Okay. So yes. So we're now
I know a
trying to
little.
understand what happened. Yeah.
Yeah, and how I believe the previous note said specifically to understand how they got in,
Yeah.
and I mean, as I played yesterday, that's why I stopped playing at some point because I was
Yeah.
like, well, it's not gonna be fun tomorrow because I know everything,
Yeah.
right? So we know it was from this specific window.
Yeah.
So maybe Volpin used to break into the room, use that window to break the room. Let's analyze. Okay, and now that's another layer of the gameplay that I found very cool, which is we have to analyze
Yeah, exactly. Essentially,
proofs,
the good
right?
thing of having an AI companion is that the AI is able to see the world in a completely different way, and to see something that human eyes are not, allowed to
Yeah,
see. And
yeah,
thanks to the AI, we can actually examine it, for example, the window, trying to understand if it has been opened from the inside or from the outside. Yeah.
exactly. Okay, I'm skipping some text. I mean, I don't think
Yeah,
that's relevant.
yeah, it is a
What I
slow
found here,
paced game, so
yeah, except here, because here
yeah,
we have a timer to solve
yeah, it's
and
true.
just let it go to see the failure. Yeah, we failed, so we have to find a way to make this match. It took me a while to realize this, but then it's easy. At least these first challenges
Yeah,
are
because
fairly
I mean,
easy.
since
Yeah,
you are in the case 10, the tutorial has been already done, and
yeah.
that's why.
Okay. But just so I understand, we
Yeah.
are on case 10 on purpose because you made the demo around this one, right? But
Yes, yes,
whenever
of
the game
course,
is fully
yes, of
released,
course,
yeah, okay. Okay.
because we decided to create a first this map, and because I mean, usually in production, this is something that I mean, this is a fun fact. In production, this
Mhm.
is something that we always do. We never create as first the first level because usually after a while that you are actually creating a game, you're getting better and doing it.
Right.
And
Makes
so
sense.
we try always to create the first few levels at the very end, not really at the end, but later on in the production.
Okay. So there are no burglary marks on the window, so it was most likely used as an escape route. So they get in.
And yeah, this is the
Oh,
trick
we're
that we
going
do.
back on time. Oh, I didn't get to this
Yeah.
yesterday.
Okay. So essentially, now you have noticed that all the entities disappeared and reappeared somewhere else doing something else because
Right.
every map has 10 ticks of time framed inside
Hmm.
the map, and to investigate our crime scenes, what we can do is actually to move forward and back in time. In this case, we decided to go back in time to understand if we are able to see, the thief entering the room or something like that, to find new clues.
Right.
And the good
I.
thing, for example, before I pointed you the circus, because if you now go to the circus, you will notice,
Oh yeah, the person's still alive. The R
yes,
hasn't fallen yet.
exactly, the person is still alive, is actually doing something else around. It's probably there. Yes, it's there.
Probably this one.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Maybe. I don't remember this person at least.
And
Okay.
yeah, you noticed that there was a devil on the beach, you know, before.
Sorry?
Probably you noticed that on the bottom left, where there is the beach, there was a devil there. There is no more. He is no more
Oh
here.
yeah,
And
you're right. And
actually, I think he is. I have to understand. I have to remember. But oh, um, it's on the top left where there is the fabric. If you go on the
okay,
top, all the way top,
all the way top. Okay.
yeah, on the left, there is
Yeah.
a very small devil coming out from the factory.
Ah, I remember that devil individual. Yes. Where? Where is he? Oh, there.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
We will
I
follow.
just find it amazing
We will
how
follow
much we
him
can zoom
during the
in.
story if you want, because we have the crimes that are happening, but we
Uh
also
huh.
have side stories that you
Okay.
can follow inside a map. Because when you complete one map on one epoch, so you resolved all the cases, you're free to enter in the map and you're free to move through the ticks and find the stories that are present inside the map. So those are not
Okay.
always
So
crimes.
okay. So like I can just interact with other character models, and then some stuff will pop up.
Since now you are in the crime scene, on the crime
Uh-huh.
adventure, you are supposed just to find the crime related clues.
Okay.
But then yes, you will be able to enter the map and interact with all the side stories and new and I will tell you something about them.
Okay, okay. I wanted to ask you something about this feature here.
Yeah,
Because yesterday I was touching this. I
yeah,
didn't fully understand what was the purpose here.
yeah. You're right.
I know I can erase some elements, but I don't understand why or what for.
Okay, so
Can you elaborate a bit on this?
yes, so essentially, this is not about finding an hidden object. We added multiple feature. This one is called reality manipulator. It means that
Okay.
in all the frame that the AI is able to show you of the game, you're actually able to destroy small things
Oh,
to understand if something is hidden behind or inside them.
Okay.
Okay.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
So I should find something or not?
Well, at the moment it's not filled because everything is. I mean, the map is not completed,
Okay.
so there will be way more things to
Oh, okay,
break,
okay.
and everything will have something in it. But yeah, I mean the feature is working, and yes. So at this point, the AI asked you um,
Yeah.
to actually unmask all the people that are attending the party because the AI has an automatic feature that the AI is able
Ah,
to recognize all the people, but
there we
not if they
go.
are masked or covered. Uh, and in this case, by unmasking this lady, you found out that it has a very weird distortion in time, and
Mm-hmm.
this is because this is something that you already learn from the previous cases. There are five different evil AIs that are trying to actually change
Hmm.
the space-time continuum.
Okay.
Okay,
So that's why our eye is telling us that maybe she never existed
exactly.
in a true timeline. Okay.
Yeah, this is something that
Oh,
now we are going to investigate to understand why
okay.
it's impossible for us to actually get a clear picture of this lady. It's maybe fault of the mask. Now we go to
Okay.
analyze the map thanks to the AI
Yeah.
powers.
Matteo is telling on the chat that you try to avoid explicit violence, I believe, and just try to go in through a fantasy route, more like a Pixar movie or like a
Yes,
just a kids
yes,
movie to some extent.
yes. Actually,
Um,
yes. Yes, it's
yeah,
like
which
Looney Tunes kind of
yeah,
violence.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. Okay, analyze the mask to assert if it can cause an alteration in the time continuum, cloaking the image of its owner across all timelines. Okay, so another puzzle.
Not a puzzle. Yeah, we have around 20 different gameplay mechanics for the puzzles.
Okay,
Uh, in this case, we are trying to analyze the signal which is coming from the mask.
there we go.
Let's
So let's see.
see what.
Negative. The mask is not a source of the distortion field. However, the wavelength is compatible with Oblivion's energy signature.
Yeah, Oblivion
If
is
you need
one of
to.
the five evil AIs
Okay.
that you will encounter during the game.
Yeah.
Oblivion actually is a shapeshifter.
Okay. There so now you introduce another layer which actually like these different AIs, evil AIs
Yeah.
help understand how the butterfly effects may also occur, I imagine. So is there you already told me, but this made me think that is there like the eyes are gonna be a constant across the different levels and the different epochs, right?
Um,
So it's kind of like my question would be, should we expect a kind of like a bigger evil, someone trying to pull the strings, for example? Uh,
Yes. So essentially,
okay,
what you have is that you have a lot of cases, like 50 cases that you will play, and every case has its own story. Maybe some cases are connected in some way because of the butterfly effect. But also, there is the main story, which is something that we are
okay,
bringing forward thanks to the timeline you started with.
okay,
And
okay,
yes, the evil AIs, they have a very important role for the whole story.
okay. I missed some tips. Where should I go now? Just
Yes, sorry.
oh,
On the top
no, no
left of the
worries.
screen, you always have a reminder if you need it.
Oh yeah, follow Oblivion.
Yeah.
There
So
we
now
go.
you know that Oblivion as the shape of the young lady that you can see in
Okay,
the Polaroid. We moved
yeah,
forward of one tick in time, so
correct.
she's probably around here.
Okay.
Since we know already that the evil AI always have something to do with the cases,
Uh
um,
huh.
so we
Oh, she's here.
presume that by finding Oblivion again, we'll find other clues for the case. Usually,
Hmm.
the AIs are not directly intervening or causing the cases, but they are doing
Mm-hmm.
something that will change something else that will make
Oh, she's
the
here.
the crime happening.
This is the one. The boots are
Yeah.
the same. The dress is okay. There, there she is. There. That's what happened. The guard was so charmed by Oblivion's blowing kiss that he forgot to close the window. Aha. The original timeline, Volpin was never able to steal from Lady Adler, but thanks to Oblivion, he simply had to jump through an open window. Okay,
Yeah, as you see, this is clearly a butterfly effect. She didn't
exactly.
exist. She arrived there. She distracted the guard, and so Lupin found the window open. Wow.
Okay, let's just see if there are any questions in the chat. I think Matteo is answering most of them and
Yeah,
interacting with
I
people.
think so.
We can pick on something to talk about a little bit for the because we have two streams running along like in parallel.
Okay.
So should be released on PC, Mac, and Nintendo Switch, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is your for on your roadmap. This is what's expected.
Yes, we will release the game at the very same time on PC, Mac, and Switch. Yes,
Okay,
probably,
okay.
very probably.
Are you gonna have just out of curiosity because some people ask this? Are you expecting to have a physical release for the Switch, for example?
Yes, we do.
Oh, okay,
We will have the physical release on Switch, not on PC and
okay,
Mac so far. That as far as we know right now, but for Switch, yes.
okay, perfect. All right. So energy tracking subroutine loaded correctly. Luckily for us, Atlantean technology has a very distinct energy signature that I can trace. Try to follow it to discover Volpin's lair. Okay, another puzzle.
This is a quick time event.
Okay.
So by clicking on the
Ah,
yeah,
gotcha.
exactly.
Oh, so this is okay.
So you're actually
Oh,
following an energy trace.
exactly, exactly, exactly. Oh, nice.
Oh, this is important. What is saying to you the AI? Because
Yeah.
usually the detective, what the job of a detective is actually to find, who actually made the crime and arrest him, and that's it. But this is not something that
Mhm.
we can actually do because by arresting the wrong person, you can actually change the future. So
Exactly.
in this example, we cannot let have him arrested because he's a very important person for something in the future. So we
Okay.
need to find another way to actually stop the robbery.
Let me ask you something really
Yeah,
fast because yesterday I didn't ask this to some dev and then they told me afterwards.
yeah.
Sometimes people ask, for example, this seems like a game that could have some, for example, integrations on Twitch or YouTube to have a chat interacting with the player. Is this something that you thought about that you expect to do, even on an arcade mode, for example, something like that, or
Um,
not at all?
so we are still thinking how to do it, but yes, we noticed that this kind of game is um, it's very easy to be playing with a community. Um,
Exactly.
Also, we noticed that in our playtest that if someone is playing it on a TV screen,
Hmm.
people that are passing by, they want to point out clues like say, yeah, you should go there, you should go some
Exactly.
on on the top, you should go on the bottom, and so yes, we noticed that this behavior, and so we would like to to use it at best for the game.
Yeah, because it also gives kind of like the impression that this feels like a kind of interactive adventure or movie, if you want.
Yes, if you want,
So
yes.
anyone will be engaged and want to participate in this.
Yeah, and since it is a Switch NPC game, and we know that we're talking about crimes, but we are not actually showing violence or real violence, just very mildly cartoon violence. We really hope to, to make this game also as a family activity. Like
Hmm.
maybe the parents by playing the game on the TV screen with the kids, suggesting where to go, where to look. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
what.
Great. Okay. I think there's potential there, even if you try to come up with some kind of arcade mode or like level editor mode, for example, for people to. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, the editor mode is a bit too big to be to
Yes,
be
of
done,
course. But
but yes.
okay, so
And at this point, I have just to remember where the devil is, because I will show you that everything else is actually moving in the city again.
okay, so yeah, we are using the devil as like a reference for that.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm not focusing too much on the text. I think you are explaining things very well, and I also think people
I-
it's I mean it's not interesting for people to see all the
yeah,
okay.
exactly. Yeah.
everything. So let's try not to.
I mean, if
Well,
you're
if
playing it in solo, then of course you will probably, read everything and so on. But uh,
exactly,
probably,
just check out the game on at least on Steam. So everyone watching the streams right now, I have the links on on both chats. So feel free
okay,
to
yeah,
wishlist the
wish
game,
list,
and
yes, exactly.
it's
And
very important for you on Steam to get wishlisted, right?
yes, exactly. And like the little devil, Hellboy. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not Hellboy.
Where,
It's devil.
where would they be?
Um, it's actually a bit more on the right. On the
Okay.
right, just zoom in a bit. Again on the right and zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. A little to the bottom.
Oh,
Here
oh,
he is. He's stealing some food.
yeah.
So as you see, this is just one of the side story. I'm not exploiting all of them. I just,
I,
you
I,
know,
I have a question, an art related question,
yeah,
because it seems to be a tendency. I see
yeah,
that most of the characters, not all of them, but many of them are animals, which is
yes,
something that I remember seeing a lot in the 90s and games from the 80s and 90s, especially more oriented kids games. Is this where was the inspiration or the reason to do this?
yes.
Because there are a lot of animals here, rabbits, I think, elephants.
Yeah. So in every epoch, we change
Uh-huh.
the animals that are present. But yeah, they're,
Okay,
all, they're everything is humanoid, but they are not human in a strict way. Um,
exactly.
and the references for this game actually are quite old because in Italy there is this famous paper magazine which is called La Settimana di Mistica, and it, there was something similar, but there was just an hidden option game where you needed to understand by resolving a rebus what you were looking for and then find it on paper. And there, most of the people were represented by animals. And so, since this is one of our references, we decided to bring. And then also, it is also easier to invent when you are not creating humans, but you
Yeah,
know
it fits well with your idea of going through a fantasy route and not so much a realistic setting of
exactly.
violence, right? Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so give me some tips here. We
Yeah.
have to recover the stolen mask.
Yes, exactly.
Uh,
So we know that the layer of the thief is there. If you zoom
yes.
out, you know that the robbery has happened
Yeah.
there. So we
Here,
always
exactly.
try to follow the routes. So
Okay. So
so somehow the thief went from the window through to his lair. Okay.
okay. So
Uh,
it's okay. So
since
the
yeah,
it's realistic in the sense that it has to be a plausible route.
as much as possible.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
And in this case, we need to recover the mask, and
Okay.
we know that the reality manipulator is used to actually open bags or
Yes,
chest.
I opened this one. Right.
Yeah. So probably what we can try to do is to find Vulpin and to open his bag,
Aha.
and we will be able to actually recover the mask.
There he was. There he was.
But the mask was made of two parts, so you were able to
Oh.
get the first one,
Okay, so two. We must find the other half. Okay.
but now you have, you know, you
Yeah.
also have one another point in the path, so it will be easier to find the second one.
Okay, so you already see part of the path.
Yeah. So now you know that he was heading to his lair.
Exactly. So, aha, there he is.
There he is.
There we go.
And you
And on the
resolved
second
your very
piece.
first case.
Exactly. And we are done.
And then every case has its own final image when we show the case that has been solved. In this case, Detective Rock gave the mask the badge.
I see. Is the demo over?
Yes.
Oh, can't you release this straight away?
Yes. The demo is over, and right now if you go back to the timeline by moving forward, you will
Okay.
have a hint of what the macro story will look like.
Oh, okay. So I can. Uh huh. Can I just go back?
Ah,
Ah, no. I see what you mean. Like
yeah.
here.
Since we met
Exactly.
for the first time, Oblivion, now we're able to track him around the centuries and the epochs. And every time
Okay.
we encounter him on another epoch, we will add information to this specific evil AI.
Okay.
And we will able to connect the Oblivion to all the other maps with all the cases when we actually fought him. And yeah, hopefully doing something with all the information that we have.
Okay. Can I go back to the map and do anything, or not yet? Because you have
Not
not.
yet, not yet, not yet.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry for
But
that.
it should be
But if you
possible.
want, you can play it again. Yes, just by
Okay,
resetting.
but it would be in the future. It should be possible. Reset. Let's go. It should be possible to, for example, do a kind of like a new game plus. Like I solved the main case, but I can go back and explore side stories.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
So as soon as when you complete one case, then you can actually play it again if you want. And when you complete all the cases of an epoch, you are able to enter that map and freely move to the map by also changing the time as you want.
Ah. Okay.
And so you're able to
Okay.
find the side stories and so on.
Okay. Let me see if anyone in chat has any questions that Matteo hadn't touched, or if I want to talk. So we have people talking about on chat micro macro crime city board game. Is this some kind of
Yes.
inspiration to you? Yes.
Actually, we found about it halfway during the pre-production, and
Mm-hmm.
I think we do share a lot as the main references because I
Okay.
mean clearly they probably have our own experience. Probably they have also our own age, and
Right. Oh, and
because
are they also Italian or not?
no, I don't think so. I think they're
Okay.
German or something.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm sorry about that. But yes, we found about the game, which is in any case different because, well, the art style is similar if you think that black and white make it similar to everything. But of course, we have this 3D that which is given by by the shadows, and also we
Mm-hmm.
have the fact that the map is changing.
That's true.
You know,
Right.
tick by tick you will see the old identities are moving around, so it's not just an hidden
Exactly.
object game. And then of course we have five different epos completely different. This one is like a Victorian age, a
Exactly. Yeah.
fantastic Victorian age. And yes, so we think that our game is not just an hidden object game, it's more like an investigation game because
Mm-hmm.
we are not directly driving the player saying you must find this, but okay, we need to collect clues, so just try to understand what you need to find. Then actually to find the object is not that hard.
Exactly. Yeah. Um. Well, I think this is very innovative to me. Like I never heard of this specific board game, but I'm thankful that the viewer brought that up. Um, I think I'm not sure. I would like to invite the chat on either stream to ask some questions because been a lot of conversation with Matteo on the chat. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah, I
sure I
see
can
that
keep up
they are very active.
with it. Yes, hard for me to keep up with it. Um, so if anyone has any questions or even suggestions, I believe you are open
Yes,
to some
absolutely. That would be great.
ideas.
But if you notice, you remember that the little devil was actually
Yes.
stealing a cake, and if you go there to the pub, which is on the right,
Oh. Okay.
just a bit on the top, and zoom in, bit to the left, bit to the left again. Yeah,
Okay. Oh,
there you,
here.
yeah, you see that somebody was actually preparing the cake.
Oh, but I cannot progress on the timeline. I'm very
Not
curious
yet,
about this.
not yet.
I'm so curious about this.
So yes, there are around between 10 to 15 side stories. which are interesting to follow in every epoch. And then, of
I
course, there
would
are also all the stories of everybody involved. At the
I would
moment,
assume.
this map is not completely done. In fact, we are going to add around other 30 characters, mostly filling
Okay.
the party in the aristocratic quarter, and then of course all the animals like cats, dogs, birds. So
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. So you have this main story that's going on, but then you have to invest a lot in creating plausible fight stories inside the map, right?
yes, yes. We actually the feeling when you see the map is actually that it has just been undrawn and we render it, but it's not true
Yeah.
because we need actually to move characters behind the walls, interacting with the world. We are also
Mm-hmm.
changing the world itself. For example, at some point there is a train passing by.
Okay.
Oh, it's there on the top left.
On the top.
You
Yeah.
you see
The
you see
yeah.
just the back in this take, but
Yeah.
in other
Exactly.
ticks you will be able actually to investigate through the train. And so yes, every time that we create a case, we also have to think, okay, when we resolve this case, how it changes the world.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it's
Um, yeah, because it has to be plausible. Because even
yes,
though you're playing a little bit with fantasy, things here have it's that thing where a fantasy world still has its own rules, so things have to make
exactly.
some sense, right?
Yeah.
I have someone asking on chat, what is the length of the game? So, how many hours or cases, if you want, would you say is the game in terms of length? Is it long, short?
So if you play the main plot, then it will be around 15 hours probably.
Okay.
Maybe if you are a gamer, probably less. Probably between around 12. But if you actually want to find all the side stories and find all the clues, all the hidden things that we put inside the map, then probably you should add at least other 5 hours.
Okay.
So
So
yes, between
there's
10 and 20 depends how much of the completeness you
yeah,
want
but
to
there is a
reach.
lot to uncover, and
Yes, and
it's a very reasonable length, considering all the detail you have to put into this and work. What was the same person is also asking?
yes,
What was the most challenging, or if it was challenging or not, to
yeah,
keep this engaging? So, what was the
yes.
biggest challenge to keep the game interesting throughout the maps
Actually,
and
it was one of the toughest point because of course it was not possible to create just an hidden object game for 50 cases. It would be insane.
Mm,
And so what we have is that during the story you will unlock new features, like for example the reality manipulator that you just tried in a very smaller version, when you can
hmm
actually destroy things inside the map and see the
yeah,
effects. But
exactly.
also then we will have the war scanner, which means that you will be able to actually investigate um, inside the buildings,
Oh,
inside some
okay.
of the buildings, to be precise. And then there is the analyzer, which is actually giving you a recap, but by following the time. So starting at the beginning, showing you the recap of the case. So we are always adding new features for the player to keep it entertained. And then, of course, the AI is giving us the ability to actually provide variety, because when you enter the AI world, you have new mechanics. It is always fresh.
Right.
So
Okay.
this is how we thought that we would be able to, to give variety to the game.
How many people were involved in the development of the game?
We are a very small team. There are 5 people working full time on the game, and
Okay.
then we have external partners for example, for the music and and so on. So overall, for the script writing, so overall there are 7 people working inside the game, and creating the game, and just 5.
Okay, so it's a fairly small team, but let me tell you, you achieved something very beautiful and
Thank
seems to be
you,
very engaging.
you very
this
much.
gives me. I understand why. I mean, the comparison to a board game is clear to me. It
Yes.
feels like a board game to some extent as well. But yeah, like the idea of having a time progression makes it very interesting and innovative for me at least. Because even like a board game, you can sometimes have add-ons or stuff that will make the board game evolve over time, but it's not the
Yeah.
same to have an interface like here. Like it's very interesting to see. It's kind of like as if we were seeing a comic book to some
Yeah,
extent,
exactly.
and
And
like
then
we're
you know
just
what?
navigating through
If
it.
if we compare it to a board game, we have one more weapon that we can use, which is that the fact that we can change the environment. Actually, every time you resolve a case, we are changing the environment. So what we want to create is also a level of curiosity for the player to understand. Okay, but now how I changed the map if I did. Okay, and every time you change it a bit the map.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this works well. So Pablo is saying on one of the streams that he finds the idea very good because you cannot have virtual reality in board games, but here you can expand the experience, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's very true. I think it's what we're discussing. Like here, you can have, for example, you cannot do this in a board game. Here, we can go to a detail of watching a lot of things
Yeah,
in
exactly.
detail. I assume this is not the focus, but is there any lore elements that a player could expect? So you already told me there are the different evil
Yeah,
AIs messing with us as we play. So there is a kind of, even if not explicit, there is story and there is
actually, it
uh,
is quite explicit.
okay,
So the main story is split in four chapters, and every chapter
okay.
will have a different, I would say, story and read approach. But at the moment, for the demo, we just wanted to show the timeline and the fact that you will be able to collect the information of the evil AIs to investigate, about them. Because
Mm-hmm.
this
Mm-hmm.
game has two kind of investigation. The one to resolve the cases inside the map, and the one outside in the timeline to actually understand why they are doing it.
Okay, okay, okay.
So yes, the main
Cool,
story is quite important actually.
cool. Yeah, I mean the demo has to be limited, otherwise it would kind of like spoil the
Yeah,
fun of the game,
yeah,
right?
exactly. And
In the
there you
long
see
term.
the little devil that on the beach.
Yeah,
Yeah, it just turned to be
yeah,
a grown up.
yeah. It turns out to be an actual
Yeah,
evil character, right? Not just
yeah.
funnily, is the only one that doesn't seem to be a specific animal. It seems to be a unique model, right?
Yes, he is unique. In
Okay,
For this map, he is unique. Yes. You
okay,
probably will see something of the same kind in another.
yeah. So we should expect a release date somewhere in 2023. You said summer, but we don't want you to. I
Yeah,
mean, just take your time.
we don't
Take
we,
your
we don't
time.
we don't have a release date yet, but yes, I think the end of second quarter, the beginning of third quarter, probably, and we will probably announce um, during the second quarter what the release date will be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In terms of a roadmap, you already told me you're still finishing the other maps, the
yeah,
epochs, the challenges. But is there anything that you're looking forward to do afterwards with this? Is there going to be a sequel? Is there going to be
hopefully.
expansions?
Okay, so hopefully a sequel. It depends, of course, how it goes. But the good thing about this game is that mm, it's from a technical point of view. I'm speaking, not business. From a technical point of view, um, um, for us, um, the game is completely modular, and
Okay.
every epoch is a module. And we know that in every epoch, we can create with a map of this size. We can create between 7 to 10 cases. Okay,
Okay.
like for example, in this map, you will have 8 cases to be played. So there are 8 crimes around
Oh.
that maybe you notice one, the one at the circus that I pointed to you, but there are others. And so we also already have in plan for a couple of DLCs for this game with probably a bit smaller map to have like 5, 7 cases, and then hopefully a sequel. But yeah, the good thing about having all the epochs around it is that it's kind of easy for us to decide to add new content if you want to.
Exactly. So it's more like the challenge should be being able to tell an interesting story and not so much
Exactly,
create a new level, let's say.
exactly,
So I mean,
exactly.
or like I mean, the level itself is the new story that you have to create for a pre-existing map.
Yeah, and then if you think about it, the good thing about the sequel, because of course at the end of the game you will have the whole story completed, even the main one. But when you are actually, you know, playing with time, then every time you change something, everything will be, you know, totally mess up again, and so
Okay,
you can actually play it a lot if you want.
right. Okay, I think we are close to having to wrap up the stream. I'm not sure if you want to share any, I mean, any more information about. So you already told us about the roadmap. Do you have any channels that you would like to share, like I don't know, the Twitter, Discord, whatever? If you want, you can send them to me, and I can share them on chat.
Okay, cool. Yes,
Um,
maybe Matteo can do it. But of course, the most important thing for us is to actually to have the game wish list on Steam, because it gives us a rough idea or if there is a lot of interest inside the game. Or to the game or not. At the moment, I have to say that the wish list is actually populating quite well, so we are quite happy, and we hope it continues to do it to grow. And yeah, so
Perfect.
please wish list again.
Yeah, I mean, let me tell like this. I play a lot of different things, and I actually I remember I got an interest into indie games back in 28, 29, 2008,
Yeah,
2009, when the first one started to get, or at least the more popular one started to show up
yeah.
out there. And this is something that I've never played anything like this, so it's very, to me, it's very innovative, at least.
Thank
So
you, thank
I'm
you very
looking
much.
forward to play this. I think it's totally out of the box compared to what I'm used to play, and I play a lot of different things. So thanks a lot for being
Yeah,
with
I'm
us.
glad you like it. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I'm not sure if this would be interesting to you, but maybe we
Yeah,
could talk a little bit more in the future if you want,
sure,
about
sure.
the
I mean,
game,
we are
about
always happy to. As soon
maybe
as we
about.
reveal the second epoch, we will be
Yeah.
happy to show you the second
Okay.
another case, not the second one,
Okay.
another
That would
case.
be
Yeah,
great. That would be great. Okay.
yeah,
I think we can wrap up.
yeah. Thank you very
Thanks a
much
lot
for
for
your
being
time.
with me, Jacopo. This was a
Thank you.
pleasure,
Absolutely a
and
pleasure.
I hope to we are able to reach out to each other in the future again. So thank you so much.
Bye bye.